kick off to talk about where we're at, the transition we had, and of course, have an introduction. One of the main things I want to do is to introduce Nadine on a way to personally, so you can get to know her and see her, see who she is. And then we'll go through Sam, a little presentation of how we've been structured in the past, where we're at now, and where we're going. So before we jump in, Nadine, you guys all know that we've been very grateful for, thank you, for Corinne and all the work she's done as a project manager to build this through the years. It was a whole lot of work. Now we're just having to figure out how do we find all of the pieces, not bits and pieces that have been all over the place for years, and transfer it on to a new person. It's not always easy, but we're getting there. Then we had Clark, who came and kind of filled in. He took over from Corinne. Many of you probably know that he had some family issues. His father had actually had a heart attack, and he reevaluated life and what he was doing and decided he wanted to be close and take care of his family. So, but that was a pretty abrupt change. Thank God that we had Nadine, who was willing to come and help us. She was actually as well in our, we had interviewed quite a few different people, and we were down to the last two, and it was really hard to pick between Nadine and Clark, because, and the only reason we went with Clark was because he didn't have all the skill set that Nadine had, but he had the relationship, and he knew the organization for so many years. So that kind of bumped him over the top. And thank God that Nadine didn't get miffed, and she's kind of like, because she knew that we really was tough, because she has got the goods. She's got the experience. She worked for many years managing the communications for the entire the company that runs all the trains across Switzerland. Pretty detailed job. And then so she's got a good hold of business and as well charity, working for the Swiss Aid. So she's been doing what we're doing for Cargo Day with Swiss Aid. Now, I do need to mention that we've announced that she was coming on board, and I want to make sure it's really clear she hasn't started yet. She's in
that
Switzerland.
wasn't very clear. So I've been firing off emails to her, and she's not replying. What's going on here? You know, is there something wrong? You know.
Well, the reality is it's not true that she hasn't started yet, because we sucked her in to say, please help us. Because in Switzerland, you have to give a 3-month notice. And we thought, man, if she does not do anything until the beginning of November, we're dead. So what we've done is we've got a tag team going between her and Sam, because Sam is here full time. And then Nadine is giving us help. Even though she's still working her other job, it's been wonderful. Even yesterday, she was on vacation down in Portugal, and she's jumping on with us on calls and helping us get things done. So it's anyway, we're very grateful for Nadine. Nadine, I want to give you 2 minutes to talk about yourself, who you are, where do you come from, what's your family, and then we'll do a quick introduction. We'll just have 60 seconds from Renee, Gerardo, and Rick on who they are and where they work. So Nadine, over to you.
Okay, thanks a lot. So nice to meet you, everybody who's here, who I can see. And sorry, Rick, for not answering. This was quite a bit stressful time, because there was the gala, organizing a lot of things. But this will be better in the future, for sure. Yeah, I'm Nadine. I live in Switzerland, in Murten. It's a little town on a lake, very beautiful. And I have a family, 2 kids, already adult, as the same age as Sam's kids. We know each other since, well, I think 20 years or so. We're good friends, and passing a lot in Lausanne to see the Wagners. So we met a lot of years ago, and yeah, as you know, I'm still working now at Swiss Aid. It's a Swiss charity which is fighting against hunger in different continents, also in Africa, Latin America, and India. And as you know, I have 2 months to go there, but I will do the best I can to help out now, to manage Cargo Day starting in November. And I'm happy to take over then 100% to be with you. And yeah, it's a lot of things to do. And I'm happy to help out. And we'll meet you in real, I think, one time next year or so. And yeah, that's about me and my life. And now I'd like to listen to you.
Wonderful. Let's start with you, Renee. Renee, just quickly, just who you are, where do you work, and how long you've been with Mercy Ships?
Okay, Nadine, welcome. Bonjour. I don't know, what is your
Bonjour.
mother tongue? Is it French
It's
or?
Swiss German. No, Swiss German, but I speak
Swiss.
as well French, English, Spanish, bit Italian.
Okay. Dan können wir ja Berndeutsch reden, hä?
Ja, genau. Sehr gut.
Okay,
Versteht immer noch
good.
etwas, aber ist okay.
Okay, so well, I'm Swiss German. I live with my family, with my wife, between Bern and Thun. We have 3 grown-up kids and 9 grandchildren, and I'm with Mercy Ships since November 2012, so almost 13 years now. No, 12 years. I will soon be in my 13th year.
Wow.
Okay. Yes, my background was not NGO, was not humanitarian work. When I joined Mercy Ships, I've never been to Africa. However, I've been to ships. One of my first jobs was a radio officer for ships. And then I did some university studies, economics and marketing. And the years with Mercy Ships were a real blessing for me. I hope also for the organization. We grown from very little to now, I think 28 people. 28 people, 2021 FTEs in Belp. We have a small office in Belp. You need to come over. And the Swiss headquarters is still in Lausanne.
Wonderful.
That's it.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Renee. Gerardo, tell us about Gerardo.
Well, in 60 seconds, it's complicated. I was born in Argentina and I've been living in many nations the last 40 years in Spain. I had the honor to take Rick's position. He did a great work starting Mercy Ships long time ago when we started dreaming. That was the last in the past century. So that gives you an idea of how long I have been in some ways engaged. I started providing legal assessment when Mercy Ships started in Spain, and in the last 7 years as national director. I live in Madrid. I have 2 adult kids. So one is a nurse and the other one is going to the military. And we have a small office in Madrid and some volunteers that help in different areas. But there's a huge potential here, especially related in the maritime industry. In fact, we are having an office for free due to a shipbroker that is lending us the space very near Real Madrid's soccer stadium. So if someday we have a meeting in Madrid, we can go and see a match here.
For sure. Voy a visitarte porque mis suegros viven en Madrid. Así estoy ahí.
Avísame, será un placer atenderte y recibirte.
Muy bien.
Hey, this is cool. It's the first time we've had a cargo day manager who could talk to each one of you in your mother tongue. More than I can do. Okay, hey, Gerardo, before we go on, I've never asked this question. I'm curious. Who's been longer in Mercy Ships? I know you guys were both there together in Spain. Is it you or Rick? Who's been here the most number of years?
Rick,
Rick.
because he was the one through YM who pushed me in. At that
So
time,
he found you.
or YM. I was already providing legal assessment to YM in Spain,
Okay.
and that's how we came to know each other.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I don't remember the year exactly. It was in the 90s, Rick.
Rick probably knows. Rick, how long? How long have you been with us and how long is Gerardo?
I've been with Mercy Ships since 98. And I was YWAM helped Gerardo helped us with some YWAM legal stuff during the 90s when I was involved with YWAM there in Madrid. But then in 2000 was when Gerardo started helping with the Mercy Ships legal stuff. We put together the statutes for the association and that kind of stuff. So
Nice, nice. Well, Rick, over to you. Tell us a little bit about Mr. Menzies.
okay, I'm actually originally from Brisbane, so I moved back here in 2001. In the middle of the whole COVID thing with my wife and two daughters. I have a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old, almost 14. I've been with Mercy Ships 26 years now. Worked on 3 of the ships, also started Mercy Ships in Spain. My background is actually IT consulting. That's what I did before I got involved. And that's kind of continued through as well. So I have a dual role here in Australia. I take care of all the IT and corporate relations. So I took over Cargo Day from Alan, who was doing it, our managing director, in November, because he's been so busy with other things, and to some degree we've neglected Cargo Day. We went from the top country down to even Spain beat us last year, but we're going to rectify that very soon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see.
And so yeah, and we manage the APAC region, so the Asia Pacific and some of the Middle East as well. So I've been reforming. We had a committee in Singapore that we all lost. Alan lost them all, and I've got a new committee back again. And we've also been doing the same in Dubai. So we'll go into more detail about that later anyway.
Yep. Good. All right. Well, I'm not going to introduce Sam and myself because I think at least we've connected all of you. So let's go ahead and go through. Sam did a really good presentation. We've been working really closely as well since Tim has passed. With how do we take what Tim did? Because Tim and I was kind of like I wouldn't even say Batman and Robin. He was Batman and Robin, and I was just trying to keep up with him. But we've been delegating and seeing what did Tim do and how do we keep that rolling. And so we've been with what we're doing with committees. How do we grow worldwide? So this is kind of where we've landed as of this last month. So Sam, give us a quick overview of the structure and how we're set up.
Yeah, just to go over the workflow because it's maybe not that obvious, even though we've been involved with Cargo Day for a while. So let's go through basically it's a collaboration between the shipping partners, the shipping community, and Mercy Ships. And so there are structures that are on both sides, and we work together. So at the top, you see that there is David, Alessandro, and Ludwig, and they are basically 3 main advisors because they know their industry, they know how it works, and they help us to expand, but they also help us to safeguard and say, oh, look, be careful, we shouldn't do this because it doesn't work in our industry. So they play a very important role, and they work together with the project management team, which is Nadine, myself, and Bryce. We'll go over a bit more in details what each group is doing. So I'll move forward. Then the Geneva committee is a very important one because it was a founding committee. That's the committee that Tim Webb founded with a group of people working in the shipping industry in Geneva. And he just passed the chairmanship last year to David Walker. So this Geneva committee is working very close as well with the steering group. And the steering group is made of the core team, which is the project management team with those advisors and some major participating Mercy Ships markets. Then if we keep going down, we have the national committees and the national counterparts. So this is where you guys are very involved. And so the national committees, we don't have a national committee in every nation where we have a Mercy Ships office, but we have a very active one in London, We have one that's starting to be more and more active in Houston. We have one in Rotterdam, and we have one in Singapore, the one that Rick was talking about. Yeah. Now the national counterpart is the same thing. You know, we have the UK, the US, Holland. Oh, it's not Singapore, sorry, it's Australia. We have
Norway,
Sweden, Spain, exactly. All those national offices that are being part. And then, of course, it's partners, all the people that are involved that are actually collecting the money and supporting Mercy Ships.
So what I'd like to do is Sam, I'm going to have you walk through each one of those entities. We created something in 2019. Corinne and I and with Tim, we created what was called a work group charter that basically mapped out what is the roles, responsibilities, and the function of each one of those. I went back and looked at it again, and we went over it with David and Alessandro. There's some things that were still pretty much have stayed the same through many years. And there's other things they're saying, hey, we need to take a look at that and start looking at how do we improve some areas that maybe we have not done as well on, or some things that was written, we didn't even follow up. We didn't go back and look at the charter. So things that Sam's going to show you now are things that have come off those charters because the charters are so long. I told her, just get the bullet points of what does each one do. So we'll go through each one of the different buckets and then we'll pause for questions.
Yeah. All right, so the project management team. So this is basically the team the closest to you because we have to work together. So there is Bryce who is chairing this the steering group, myself, and then Nadine. So we're not going to read in detail. I will send you all of that so you can see. But do you have any question about the project management team?
Yeah, if you see the screen, scan it quickly and look at it and see if you have any questions on how that team work, how we work together as the management of the initiative.
Bryce, maybe just for us to make the link to what Corinne did, can you explain to us where the roles and responsibilities of Corinne are now with Sam, with Nadine?
Her roles and responsibilities are only right now within Cargo Day to be able to pass on the information. We've got to make sure that anything that she has, because she's like a Carrie Peterson, and I think she's a genius, but she's got everything up here. It was really hard to see where everything was stored. So that's our issue right now. Her role is just to make sure that Nadine is getting everything as far as project management. If you go back, my role as chair of the steering committee, that nothing has changed there. That was still the same role I had with Corinne. The roles that are down below under Sam and Nadine were most of those were in everything that Nadine has were things that Corinne was doing. With exception of that, Corinne also did what Sam was doing up above, develops the business model and overall annual budget. So Corinne was doing those down below. She's not doing any of those now. So please make sure that if you have any questions, you're directing them to Sam and Nadine, because as you mentioned, Nadine is still, full-time in another job, but they will make sure between the two of them, they're answering your questions. Corinne, just so you know, Corinne is the head of digital. So she is still working with national offices, specifically in the area of their websites and digital campaigns. That does not include Cargo Day. She's not responsible for anything in Cargo Day.
Yes, I got it. But I mean, she was very, very operational, very, very into the day-to-day activities, especially in Switzerland. Yeah. And for me, it's right now difficult to understand what will still remain in the project management team, and what will be needed to be done by my staff, for example.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Let's go back and I want to talk with you separately, because that was one of the areas where it didn't really follow what was in the charters, because Corinne was picking up some of the things that the national counterparts were doing in their nations. Some of the things that Corinne was doing here is what Shri did. And the reality is, I still truly believe that Switzerland needs to own the relationships with any company or any person. Now, our job is to support and help. That's what we do. We don't own any of these partnerships or relationships. We're here to coordinate the project. So I think, Renee, you and I should look at how does that work, even on the aspect of the CRM. The other nations are all including all of their partners in the UK into their database. Whereas over here, we need to make sure that there is, I was talking with Christoph, how do we make sure that anything that happens with a partner of a shipping company is not just someplace in HubSpot, but you have it on your CRM. So that's something we need to look at. How do we make sure that you've got one location that you can go to and you know what's happening in your nation?
I think that the thing I felt it like it was very positive. Corinne was also part of the steering committee.
Correct.
So she had that direct link to all the key persons through the steering committee. And then when she became operational, she had, thanks to those direct links, an easy connection to all the different people involved in Switzerland and even outside Switzerland, who were engaged with Cargo Day.
That won't change. Nadine is fully going to be part of the steering committee. If you go back up, we'll get when we go through the steering committee. That Nadine is in there. Sam is in there because Sam's role is growing and changing into being responsible for all corporate community engagement. So that has to do with like Monaco, pharmaceuticals, Cargo Day. So that's a bigger picture of how do we work in the organization on any community. So both of them will be in there. I'll still be the chair. We're still going to make sure that we'll get to that point as well, the key markets. Obviously, Switzerland needs to be there because Switzerland was a founding member. There's only 2 markets now that have over 40 individual participations. And that's, for the time being, that's UK and Switzerland. And they were the main ones that were in the steering committee. And we'll see as we grow if we need more. We need to make sure we have the right people in there to be able to help guide and direct us. One thing that Dave and Alessandro said is they said they'd really like to be part of that steering committee. So that's something as well that I became that link with Tim to what happened in the steering committee, and Corinne was very close to Alessandro. They want to keep it tighter. They want to be in there and be in one big steering team that we're saying this is how we're building and where we go, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah.
So in the aspect of the ongoing project management, really not much has changed. We just need to help Nadine get up to speed. Corinne had 10 years of doing this, and now Nadine's got to get up to speed quickly. So we need to help her in that aspect. It helps that both Sam and I are there, which I think will help. Good question,
In that
Renee.
sense, Bryce, in that sense, all, for example, that was set up, for example, HubSpot, all the emails that were sent. I believe we even had a Cargo Day profile in LinkedIn to publish things about Cargo Day. Are they all kept? Are we going to still use them? What is the idea? Because if Nadine partially,
Sam and Nadine, you can talk to LinkedIn. I can talk about HubSpot. Just to let you know, HubSpot, we had some issues about a year and a half ago. It was hacked. We had to find some new ways of managing emails in HubSpot because we actually had you may or may not know, there was somebody who got a hold of Corinne's emails, pretended to be her, connected with some people. We lost $70,000 and it never came back. And the same thing happened last year. So we've got to find a new way. So HubSpot was just basically how do we control and manage things. But as far as the tools, that's one of your last slides. But do you want to mention anything about that now?
Yeah, yes, LinkedIn, yes, still exists. Nothing had been published since October 2023, I believe. Nadine just posted something actually this morning. So yes, it is the plan to revive the LinkedIn. and we will show you the plan for the communication for this month before the November 6th kickoff day of Cargo Day.
Yeah, that's one of your last slides, so we'll get
Yeah.
to that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important to say that right now we are not changing the structure or the platforms because we are still in the phase of learning how everything is working. So there is no need to change everything right now. We want this Cargo Day 2024 to be rock solid. But then we will evaluate the beginning of next year, a revamp of the website, all those platforms, what makes sense, and even to change something on the website. Nadine is struggling with the backend company that is managing it to make some simple changes. So there are a lot of things that need to be revamped, rethought through in the communication and everything. But we're taking one step at a time. We just want to make sure the Cargo Day 2024 is going to be a successful fundraising event. That's the priority. Like we did the gala, we wanted the gala to be successful. Now it's this fundraising event, it needs to be successful. Yeah.
Anything we can do later, we probably will. Anything that needs to be changed or adapted or covered now, that's the focus.
The email hosting is being moved, right, Bryce?
Correct.
365, because that's where we believe it's most likely that the hack was. So it's important that we don't have another repeat of that this year, because that would really damage our credibility.
Nadine, you need to know that Rick is not only the counterpart for Australia, but he's a tech genius. He really helped us out quite a bit when we had the hack and helping us try to figure out where and what happened. So some of these counterparts will also be support for you. Yeah.
Very good.
So if we keep on going with the Geneva Committee, basically the Geneva Committee does an amazing job. We are discovering more and more what they do. We knew that they were motivating the global shipping community, but actually during the Cargo Day fundraising event, they manage the whole global database, and they call people, they motivate people to participate. They do an incredible work. And so, of course, they manage and facilitate the existing and new shipping partners. And of course, the gala, the Geneva Gala, which is really the global Cargo Day Gala. If we keep on going, just because of time, the steering group is really responsible for the final strategic decisions concerning Cargo Day worldwide. And they support the peer-to-peer efforts of national committees and their counterparts.
And that's one, Renee, you were mentioning. Nadine will be part of that. The only thing we're doing is seeing how we can add in Alessandro and David, maybe Ludwig, or maybe to me just one of them. But they want to be part to be more connected with how we're growing.
Yeah. The national committees, it's very interesting. I was talking with Shri yesterday, and she really said that it really took off in the UK, the Cargo Day initiative, because one shipping champion kind of took the mantle and created a committee. And that's very important because they are the ones stirring the pot in their community to say, come on, guys, let's be part of this. And they motivate, they find new people, and they organize local events. For example, Shri was telling me that it's true that the Cargo Day initiative is very active on the second part of the year, but the first part not so much. So they actually organized last year like a reception in a pub, and they had over 100 brokers and traders to come, and it was a way for them to discover Mercy ships, to discover about Cargo Day, and but it's kind of like the second tier of the people, the brokers and the traders. There are some ideas there that we can share together and to help expand Cargo Day in your nation. Now the counterparts, so this is us here, and so our objective is to support the expansion of Cargo Day. to support your national cargo day committee or champion, shipping champion, if you have one in your nation, to support any local cargo day events. It's important, I think, as well to integrate your expenses and your revenue national SMP. So also we track nationally what's the Cargo Day initiative, and then to share your challenges, concerns, or new ideas for the Cargo Day to the Cargo Day project manager.
Which is Nadine.
Exactly.
Wait, but before you don't go too quick, is there any specific questions on any of those specific units?
We're missing the Dubai committee, but that's okay. I won't tell
Well,
them.
because the Dubai committee is really set up yet, and that's something that I think you and I need to get on. Renee, you and I need to get on. How do we make sure we're streamlining the biggest cargo day nation, Switzerland? Rick, you and I need to get together with committees because both Ludwig and David have some really good ideas. We need to make sure that it's clear how do we set up a committee. Who decides who's going to be the chair? How do we make it happen? How do we promote it? So let's get you together with them and let's figure out what we do with both Dubai and with Singapore, and who knows, anywhere else in Asia.
Maybe it would be good, Bryce, in this to know how it is organized. I don't know if it's something in paper, how you organize a committee, or when, how many have to be the members, what is the purpose of the committee, because as things are growing in Spain, maybe we could have some.
Yep, that's
some
what we have. We
Spain.
did in 2019. There's a charter for each one of those. One of the charters is what is the role and function of the Geneva Cargo Day Committee, and what is the role and function of a national committee. So what we haven't done well is use those charters when we're developing new committees or finding out how do we connect with them. So those charters exist. I went back and looked at them. We'll distribute those. I mean, we need to set a time when we do that, but I want Nadine to look at them, and those charters are supposed to be validated by the steering committee, the steering team, we're calling. So what we're going to do is I've updated them. We're going to send them the steering team. We need to rally together, get our steering team together, validate those and send them out, and then hopefully that will give you clarity, because that's the details of what's in that whole chart.
Yeah. So I just wanted to also show you this slide here because we've been working with Alessandro and the Geneva Committee to look at how do we explain, how do people understand how they need to participate. And actually, we realized that it was actually wrong the way it was actually communicated before. So I think it's important for you guys to understand as well that the charterers announce Mercy Cargoes. The shipbrokers give their commission. It's usually 50%, but they can give 100% if they want on the Mercy Cargoes that were given by the charterers to them. And then you have the ship owners that can make a pledge. Basically, it's a direct donation, as well as the port agents, inspection companies, or any other services around the shipping industry. So to do that, they just need to contact us, and we manage the information with them, collecting how much are they giving as a pledge, or they say, oh, I want to give my commission. So once they know how much their commission is going to be, then they announce the amount of what they give them. And it's important also to inform them that what are they getting out of this. And this was interesting. I was talking actually with a Norwegian company just yesterday, and a new company, and they were like, oh yeah, we want to participate. It's our first time. And he said, but I want to know, if we give something, we're going to be on the Tradewinds magazine, right? When you do this ad. And I said, yes, of course, absolutely, And I explained to him the different banners, the different colors with the anchors, what it means, and then he could make his decision on how much he was going to give, and then of course we put also the logo on the website. So so that's it. Was it clear for you? Did you already know? Is this like, or is this kind of interesting for you to hear about this?
That's a good question. So for Gerardo, was it? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, René.
For me, when I look at this graph, Sam, I'm now a little bit confused. I ask myself, who does the first step? I always thought the charter, the shipbrokers, the owners, they can become active. But when I look at your graph, it is at the very beginning, the charterer who says, okay, I have a mercy cargo.
1, 2, 3.
It's not 1, 2, 3.
It's not 1, 2, 3.
That was the mistake.
That was the mistake in the last one. The last one we said 1, 2, 3, but there's a port agent, an inspector, or any other service. Anyone can make a pledge anytime. It does not have to be
the charter.
Mercy cargo.
If I have a cargo and I tell the broker, hey guys, you get the cargo if we can make it a mercy cargo, okay? So who is then announcing the cargo? Is it the charterer or is it the broker?
It's the charterer.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. But how do we know that what the charterer is announcing will then be commissioned to us?
Because they say, okay, they explain which cargo, they're giving to which broker they're giving it. And then once they know the amount of the commission, then the shipbroker can say, look, we're giving 50%, which is going to be equal to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where we need to make sure that if that charter broker ship owner is in Switzerland, you need to be informed. It's either you or Claude or whoever you decide on every step of the way. If somebody comes in, even before the gift's coming, what's on the way. So that's something we need to look at. How do we do that? I think it went, I don't know how well it went into some places. Some nations said it went really well, others less well. We need to figure it out because you need to know and see what's happening.
Okay.
Gerardo, question?
Yes. One is related to the process. How and when we communicate, because besides the communication that you can launch from headquarters, let's say, it's we also do something in Spain. And we also give our email and telephone just in case they want more information. So I think it would be good to know if it will be 2 lines of working that need to be working in the same timeline. That's one thing. The other thing would be if people from different nations reach out to you, Sam, or to Nadine, there are also benefits that they can enjoy depending on the nation. For example, if it's a Spanish company, they can enjoy tax deductions besides being in trade winds or being in their logo. And I don't know who has to tell them that, because that's important, because they can benefit from those type of things that maybe if they do it and if they give it through BRS, for example, in Switzerland, they lose the money, they lose the tax deduction because they're working already with BRS. And that happened in the past with CEPSA, for example, that they did it through BRS in Geneva, and they were shocked when they discovered that they could have enjoyed tax deductions if they do it to the Mercy-Ships account in Spain. So I think it's something to work out and to improve on this type of things of communicating, that because that's an important benefit for the either an owner, shipbroker, or charterer.
Gerardo, that's how do we improve what we're doing? You just mentioned conflict resolution. That's one of the things that our project management team has to dig in and look at. If there's a specific issue, how do we make sure we find the best solution? And I think at the end of the day, what's really important is that we're doing what the company wants.
Yeah.
What if the company is wherever they want, if they want tax deductibility, we got to find a way to run it through that nation. But we need to find out what the company actually wants and to serve them. And I know for us, we need to be able to know for our budgets how much money's coming in and what we can expect.
And actually, it just happened last week. We have an Italian company that first timer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they because it was Italy, I put them in contact with Christophe from the Swiss office. And I said, look, Christophe, can you send the invoice to this company? And then we realized that they have an office in
No,
Luxembourg.
they came back and said, we'd like to be able to have it processed in Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you do that? I mean, it wasn't a huge gift, but still, I mean, it was what, $5,000? $6,000.
6,000, yeah.
Then we had to figure out, okay, who is managing the Luxembourg accounts? How do we make sure we're meeting their desires and needs to process in the right place?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gerardo. So
There used to be an organization that could actually receive, within a number of European countries, that could actually receive donations on behalf of a charity in a different European nation. And I think they would take about a 4% commission. But, you know, sometimes these companies are talking about a 25% tax break. So, you know, losing a 4% commission to give them a 25% tax break is probably well worth looking into.
I mean, was that King Boudman? Is that the one that we were
It's
working
in Belgium.
Brussels?
In France, it's Fondation de France.
Yeah.
They do that.
It's a good
kind
point.
of like an umbrella. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially for those where we don't have a national office. It's easy if we've got a national office. But it's not so easy.
Yeah,
anyways.
Let me
Write that down, Sam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting close.
Yes.
Let's go on to the timeline and communication.
Yeah.
We probably won't go through in detail, but we will share this more. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, like I said, the LinkedIn is being revived. So over this next month, we have several things that we want to communicate. Of course, to communicate the date of Cargo Day and give them entice them to be part of it. On Sunday, we are actually taking a group from Cargo Day on the Africa Mercy in Madagascar. And so it's a great opportunity to film very short videos of them and post them live, you know, so they can encourage their peers to participate on the Cargo Day live from the ship. And we also have an email signature that we're going to send through the newsletter that they can also all put on their emails. We have a 50-second video of Mercy Ships that we sent it to the Geneva committee. They loved it. It's very short, punchy. It talks about Mercy Ships. So we're trying to give them some tools that they can use to talk about Mercy Ships through this month. And
I'm going to drop that link into this chat because we didn't make it just for Cargo Day. We made it with Global Corporate Partners, because we have not updated that 60 seconds. This is Mercy Ships since 2019. I think it was
16,
before.
I think it was 16.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've created a new one. It's available for you if you want to adapt it into your language or an outro that says Mercy Ships Spain. Just let us know. I'll drop that in the link.
Yeah. We also have a very good video of the last vision trip that took place in November in Sierra Leone. It's on the website, actually. You can also watch it and distribute if you want. It's a great, very good, because it's them talking about Mercy Ships. It's the best. Do you have any questions on this communication plan?
I do. When are we going to have this next meeting? Because we need to come back to this group and let them know what resources they have, what plan they have, so they can review it ahead of time.
Yes.
I think that's the next step, is make sure you guys are knowing these details and to share the charters.
Exactly. So starting on next week, on Friday morning in Europe at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the UK. It's in the afternoon for Rick. We have a weekly call up until end of November.
Sam, can we add Tony into that Friday afternoon meeting?
Of course.
Tony Murray?
Tony Keeley. I'll send you
Oh.
I'll send you her email address.
Oh yeah.
She's the one that does all
Okay.
the admin work for Cargo Day for this region.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody you guys want on that call to loop them in.
Yeah. All right. So we'll move on. Let me see. Oops. Where are we? Okay. Yeah. So this is you can find out how tankers and dry bulk cargoes are saving lives in Africa. This is the email signature, not signature, banner. Sorry, that we're going to be sending to all the. So we're going to. Oh yeah, just one thing that's important in the newsletter that's going to be sent. We are going to send it to all the participants of Cargo Day from 2021, 2022, 2023, and all the participants of the Geneva Gala from last week. So it's going to be quite a lot of people, and we're going to send them the email banner that they can add to their emails.
And you'll be informing this group what's going out before it goes out so they can see what's going to their people and when it's going to go.
Yeah, we're going to do also very, very short, like highlights of patients in the e-news. We're trying to do something very quick, easy to read, but also something that always links them to Mercy Ships. So I asked Shri and Charlene to write those little snippets on the patients. I think Gerardo has a question.
And, well, Renee was first. Renee was first, and then Gerardo.
All right.
And Renee, I'm anticipating your question. If it has to do with the getting a couple of LinkedIn promotion statements from the ship next week when we're there, we should talk about that. If you want something in French or German, we can definitely do that as well.
Well, I think the language is still a barrier, and we need to manage that. But here we talk to a very specific group of people. They all speak English, so I don't think it's a big issue. No, my question was more about the dry bulk. Do we have exactly the same messaging, exactly the same content, the same group of people, all united in one committee, or like Emanuele? Emanuele, he is the head of dry bulk.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a separate committee and a separate communication plan, or not at all? Do we keep it in one?
It's what we discussed last week at our Geneva committee. Right now, we've got 2 dry bulk people sitting on the Geneva committee, so they're all part of one committee. But they keep going back and forth. Ooh, do we start our own committee? Even talking about, do we start our own ball? Because we realize that they don't even mix together at the ball. So lots of those questions. There was also challenges with. They had this great idea. Let's start calling it fixing day rather than cargo day. And it created some challenges because people go, wait a second, what is it? And it wasn't thought through. They just jumped off and did it because we didn't give clear guidance on what a committee can and can't do. And that's what we have to do. That's why we get these charters out there, so we can help to steer that. Yeah,
I think it's a good question, René, as well, because there is a small strategic group that's going to be formed to really think about the dry bulk, because Manu actually was telling us that the shipping industry is 3 big sectors. You have the tankers, which is mostly cargo day. We're really focusing on the tankers. Then you have everything that's dry bulk, and then you have all the containers. And the 3 segments operate completely differently. So actually, the cargo day is really made for the tankers, and the people from dry bulk have a tough time navigating through the system because it doesn't correspond to their ecosystem. So Manu and a few others, we have someone in the UK as well that's very interested to really think, how do we adapt the concept of cargo day for the dry bulk, that it makes sense to them and that we can also run. So then it will, I think, eventually stand on. but still be under the Cargo Day initiative. You know what I mean? Because it's all shipping, basically. And the containers is another sector that we haven't even touched. You know what I mean?
I think one of the problems has been that we focus too much on the 3 steps, the charterer, and the address commission. What we've been trying to push in Singapore and Dubai is also, just straight out donating from different companies. And actually, the chairwoman of the Dubai committee is the CEO of Stena Bulk. So we're very well connected in Dubai to that. So to kind of spread things out, and I mean, you get a little bit of everything. You have to manage it. We have in Singapore, for example, we've had a couple of issues where actually the BRS people came to me and they said, we have a problem. BRS has to take a step back because for a lot of people in Singapore, it's seen as a BRS event. And so the BRS people themselves have said, we want to take a step a little bit back so that it involves more people. And that's great. It's them saying, hey, let's bring more people into the fold. And then we have another challenge in Singapore because we have different ethnic groups. We have the Chinese, and we have the Indians, and then we have the expats. And so the 3 different groups. And of course, I have charterers there, and brokers, and so a lot of those brokers are actually do work for the charterers. So I have one very strong charterer who some of the brokers are afraid of because she gives them a lot of work. And so in Singapore, I've just had to stay responsible for the committee because, otherwise there's too many internal political issues to deal with, but I can kind of pull them all together. So yeah, we're trying to emphasize more the whole thing of everybody can participate. Even offshore are looking at it as well. That's another different model again. Anybody can give money to Cargo Day. It's the donation ability is there, and I think there's plenty of shipping companies that are interested in that. Not necessarily just the owners as well. The owners, they donate an amount that's how they participate. So, and there's plenty of owners who want to participate. So that's my 2 cents anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick. Hey, Gerardo, you've got a question. We've got 5 minutes left. So let's go to Gerardo's question. Any other questions or things or comments on what we do on this group? Because we're going to have weekly calls from now until the Cargo Day. And then we'll go back to, I think, a quarterly call.
Yeah. Monthly or quarterly.
So please make sure, let's go to Gerardo's question and then please put everything in the box. We're already 10 minutes over. If you need to go, you can go, but otherwise we'll make sure we stop on the hour. Gerardo, question.
Yes, one has to do with communication and how to adapt that to the languages that was brought up by Rene, to have everything in ways that we can adapt to Spanish, for example, or even to Portuguese, because we're starting to have contacts in Portugal, in the maritime world. The second thing is with the signature, I believe we are just limiting the scope of what we want to do if we only have in the signature tankers and dry bulk, and we are like putting aside ship owners or ship brokers. So I don't know if we can think in something more general or related to the maritime world, because if not, you're like yourself just only thinking in part of the group we are matching up. And something we are doing in Spain, because and that's the last, it's helping us, as sometimes communication gets so close to the day of Cargo Day that when people receive the communication or start looking at it, especially for the first time, the day has gone by and they say, oh, the day just has passed, so we cannot join. So what I do, and maybe it's out of the scope, but it's the way to try to get them in, is I say, well, we start on November X, but you have all the time to join the group.
Mhm.
Because if I
Now,
limit
just to be
it
clear,
for
clear in our
because if I
communication and on
limit
the
it
website.
only,
Yeah.
only on one day, then the people, if they start thinking on the
That's
10th
true.
or
Sure.
the 13th
That's
of
right.
November,
Yeah.
they think
I
they cannot
think,
be part of it.
Sure. I think that we need to say that it goes up until the end of the year, because we need to have it's a period of time. You know, it's the fundraising season, November, December, basically. Because it's called Cargo Day, they're still keen on naming a date of a specific day, even though Cargo Day is not just that day. You're totally right, Gerardo. But I think it's not just going on and on the entire year. We have to loop at one point and close the loop and say, look, this is
Yes.
what has been raised by the shipping company in that year, you know. So I think also this is interesting, all this conversation, because we need to safeguard the framework of Cargo Day, and be careful not to expand in too many ways, and that all of a sudden it loses its power and it loses its impact as a, you know, I mean, as an initiative, because it was really thought through with a specific architecture that works for tankers. So it evolves all of the entire ecosystem around the tankers community, you know, but it's very specific. So we just need to keep this in mind, you know, as well.
Yeah. Good points.
And
All
for
right.
you, so you're assured, we always say that this ends at the end of the year. It starts in November
Yes.
and
Yep.
31st December ends, and
Yeah.
also has a
Yeah.
tax implication.
Yeah.
If you want
Yes.
to get it,
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
have to
Yeah.
enjoy it. You have to do it this year. So it's
Yeah.
limited.
Gerardo, on that messaging, we've had a couple people come and say, do I have to wait until November 6th to make a donation? We said, no, if you want to jump on board, go for it. So even though that's our day, it's a giving, a fall giving set, a year-end giving season. We probably won't promote that because we don't want to create confusion.
Yeah.
That's our kickoff day, but just to let you know, if somebody wants to make a gift before, you look at the website. There's already people on there who have already either pledged or given.
Well,
So
it's not updated yet, and we're
Yeah.
still waiting. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be on yesterday, but
Okay.
so
We've always communicated that it runs for a month. Are we saying that we're
Yeah.
extending that now? Because the commissions
Well,
can take quite a while to finalize and come in. I mean, I
Exactly.
think last month we got our last 2 commissions in actually from last year.
Yeah.
But we've always said
Yeah.
it runs for a month. Are we now saying it's running till the end of the year? What? That's a change.
That's a good point. It's exactly that. I think you're correct, Rick, that it's 1 month. It's a whole month of November. And like you said, because by the time you get all the information from the commissions, the amounts and everything, it goes until the end of the year. But the time where they need to be active and you know, give the mercy cargoes, you know, is the month of November.
And
Yeah,
Rick,
'cause
you're right. The address commissions can come later. So in
Yeah.
other words, but we don't want somebody pledging and making a new cargo on January 15th.
No.
Yeah. But the thing is also, if you extend it too long, I think people start thinking,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'll do that later on in the year.
Yeah.
And then
That's
they
right.
forget about it and they don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are 1 minute over.
Yeah.
Was that your
It's
last
just
slide?
it's the video, the 50-second video.
Okay, anybody wants to stay on? This is the video. Did you make sound so they can see it when you shared?
I don't know.
Go stop sharing. Stop sharing. Go up and go share again. Click over here. Click on sound included.
Include sound.
There you go. Now go back, share it. Okay, this just lets you know this was our first stab at hey, a new how do you say what chips is in 50 seconds. Go.
Okay. Is it not going? Oh, well, it's not going for some reason. I don't know why. Is the internet not so good?
Okay.
Well, it's not going.
Hold on. Then I am going to share. Where's my start sharing? Oh, you need to. Yeah, okay. Okay, guys, tell me when you got the screen. Okay, guys, tell me when you got the screen. Okay, guys, tell me when you got the screen. Mute.
Wait, I am.
I've just traveled.
You're on mute, Bryce.
Sorry. Basically, we wanted something that we could that I wanted something I could use when I'm on the plane or I'm meeting somebody. And we did something where we didn't have any voice because it actually works even if there's no sound. You can actually show somebody, say, "Oh, let me show you what I do." And if you memorize it, you kind of talk through it. I've tried it with a few different new people I've never met before, and it works quite well. So that's just another tool we'll make available.
If you are interested in having localized just the last slide with your website, let me know, because I'm the UK wants it already, and I can ask Peach to do that for you if you are interested.
Yeah, if you could do that for Australia, that would be great. If he's going to do it
Done.
anyway, so for the UK.
Yeah, likewise for the
Yep.
Swiss office, please.
Also,
Okay,
and is
Gerardo,
it
do you want
possible to
to?
have it in Spanish?
I knew you were going to ask that. Probably not as quick as putting the last thing on there, but let's look at that. Yep.
Yeah. If you
If I
can
have the
provide
transcript,
translation.
if I have the transcript, I can work out the translation.
Okay, Sam and Nadine, can you
Yeah.
get with them on that?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much, and we will see you next week. We're not doing one this Friday, right?
Not this Friday, though.
But the following Friday is the next one, and we'll actually be in Africa, on Madagascar for that one. So.
All right.
All right. Thanks
Take
so much,
care and
guys.
safe travels.
Thank
Bye.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you,
Thank
Nadine.
you. Bye-bye.
you. Nice to
Bye-bye.
meet you. Bye bye.